And Mr. Gillespie's actually, he was an engineer. He's a council person who was an engineer. He's retired now, but so it's great that he gets to look at some of your ideas on how you're going to power it and things like that.
There's also a vibrant Girl Scouts too.
Reading some of your information here, vestibular movement, that's a key word to me, because you know what I have? I have vertigo, and I have vestibular problems in my balance. No side remarks, everybody. Why not for senior citizens that have balance issues, instead of, in addition to physically challenged people?
Yeah, actually they had another idea about the senior citizens also. They wanted to get a kind of a treadmill kind of thing, but that will not be so much stress, that can be on a park, and that can be, and they had an idea that it can power, right, a wind powered. Yeah.
Treadmill.
Cool.
So they had like two, three prototypes they were working on, so they thought they will finally stick with this one.
Do you have a question for us?
Did the township do any survey on the need for a park for disabled people?
I don't think we've done a actual survey, but I do think this is my opinion, when you mentioned Phoenixville and a lot of other communities that are, we'd like to consider ourselves on par with, they do have that kind of facility. So I would think somewhere along the line, we should have a park for people with special needs, or a portion of the park devoted to people with special needs, just so we can get to that next level as a township. And as John said, we are going to be looking at our open space and recreation plan. You guys actually came in at the right time, because next year this is stuff we're going to be talking about. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and we're going to do some community input sessions as part of that. So opportunities for folks to come to the township building to talk to us, and we'll do surveys. And so a question like that is definitely something that we can incorporate. And so whether that has to do with somebody who is a younger person or an older person, if they have special needs, then because we have about 40% of the residents of Concord Township are seniors, and so that's a very high number, and some folks we want to take care of as well. And we're doing all sorts of trails as well that we're planning for. And when you think about the trails, you don't just walk on the trails or ride your bikes, but have you ever seen trails where there are little stations along, play stations or exercise stations along the way? And so that might be an opportunity to think about something as well, in addition to or instead of just in the park.
Young man, you have a question?
What are the rules for special needed parks that you would want to approve?
I think first, I'm sorry.
I think I can add that just so you guys understand, so there are a lot of standards that municipalities are required to adhere to anytime we build a park. There's actual construction standards on every single thing done in a park, because there's insurance and things, liability, things we have to make sure everybody's safe. So when you go to play at any of our parks, we need to make sure that we've met all of the code requirements so that you guys can play safely. Things from how much mulch there is to how they're actually created, the physical structures and how they're put in. So when you talk about that, and you talk about ADA accessible parks, there are a lot of standards and equipment that you have to work with in order to make sure that you've met the insurance requirements for that park. So, and ADA, American Disabilities Act, which I think you guys are very familiar with. There's part of the code, it's ANSI, can't think of the acronym, but basically what it is it gives you the requirements for what you need to do when you're doing those type of parks, anytime you're doing a park, whether it's a park for people with special needs or a mixed park or anything like that. So there are requirements that we have to follow very strictly, and we have insurance companies that come in and check to make sure we've done that.
Additionally, about 10 years ago, the township did receive some grant funds from the local Rotary Club, the park, the little playground facility that's right out this door, and that was built for handicapped people. So we did something about 10 years ago.
And we've actually talked internally with the engineer about some things. I used to live in Haverford Township, and there they actually did an entire ADA park. And we've talked about potentially a splash park one day to all types of things. So we are definitely thinking in what you guys have, and we'd love more input when we get to that.
Stay involved. Stay involved.
Definitely.
In case it's like dark outside, but like they don't have like much time, we decided
for our administrative reason, we just decided to use mini LED light bulbs. But we could use like bigger, like instead of like just street lights, so we could use like more bigger, like
Yeah,
other bigger lights.
guys really thought this out.
And also one thing about the swing is that we were also thinking that we can make so that the ramp can move, so that when they're swinging, they don't interfere with the ramp and they don't fall out when they're swinging.
So it's
Retractable ramp.
like so they can get on the wheelchair and get up, and then like when the person's operating, they can hit a button and the ramp can go down and they can swing. Or it can just be light and someone can just move it. It can just be really light and someone can just move it out of the way.
So then, you know what's even cooler about this conversation? So I'm gonna talk to you guys for 1 second about local government. So I don't know, do you guys have any idea what you wanna do when you're older? People wanna be engineers or anything like that potentially? So what's really cool about our jobs here and council's job and my job as a township manager is we get to purchase or have land and we get to plan for it. So what's really cool is from the ground up, I've worked in this municipality and other municipalities, and we get to have, a piece of ground that has nothing on it, and council gets to decide what goes there, and they can build a park, and then they can watch kids play on it, which is really cool from a job perspective. If you're ever interested in getting involved as an elected official or as a local government employee, it's really great what you're doing, because all of these things are stuff that we do all the time.
You have one more there? No. Well, got all the questions? Good. I wanted to make sure, because you guys were really, I gotta give you credit, let's make sure you got them all.
A lot of questions, good, that's good.
So what should we do